welcome back guys. So today I am going to be talking about figure reference drawing, specifically some great references and sites to use to help you get started. I love figure drawing people is so fun to me. I love bodies, just anatomy is so interesting in capturing that. But beside from my own likes, it is a basic skill I think for artists that's really important. So I think it is some important area to study up, give yourself some practice too, and even if you don't want to draw realistically, knowing what the body should look like realistically helps you when you then go into stylize to still feel like it's possible to not feel totally taken out of the art by like, oh, that's too far, because stylizing still needs to have certain key elements so that people aren't totally lost of like, what is this blob doing? And as important as it is, I think it can be almost a trickier thing to get into if you haven't gone to art schools. There's kind of that classic idea of figure drawing, of your classroom setup with a model there from life to draw from, which, don't get me wrong, I think is a great setup and is really fun to do if you have an opportunity to take the like figure drawing class live. It's so fun, but that's not always the case. So the first one is quick poses. As I mentioned earlier, some of these sites offer a kind of classroom setting option, and not all of them do. This one kind of gives you best of both. What I mean by a classroom setting option is that this has a setup that you can click for timed sessions. This will essentially put up all these reference artwork for you. You can adjust how long each picture is seen and how long you want your overall session to be, how fast they're moving. You can get into customizing nude or not, just female or male, if you want just portraits or not, all kinds of things to refine what they're showing you, but it'll be set up, and once you hit that start, they're just going to be on that screen for you to go and go. I think a lot of times when you start any project, this is a great warm-up way. I like having this class option here that just throws you in to say draw 20 figures and just go draw their figures. I also love this site because it has just a plain library option as well, where you can browse through the photos and just find references and look for yourself if you don't want to be limited. It has both available to you. The site does tend towards more action photos with its references. I love drawing very action movement focused people, so I like that a lot. Next one is Sketch Daily. This one's pretty similar to the last, although it does not have a library. It is just going to be timed sessions. It has similar tuning options again, but you're just going to be looking through these as they're timed out, as they're randomly showing up to you. There's no like gallery for you to look through. This one has a little more variety in the poses with some more just relaxed or stage versus just the action. Next is Line of Action. This is similar to Sketch Daily in that it's just these time session options. There's not a library to look through. You just have to set up a session to sit through and look through them. It has a decent variety. I'd say not quite as many photo options as Sketch Daily does, but it's still there in a decent variety. It's also pretty good in that even though there's no like gallery to look through, it's got a lot of information and tips and lessons on that website that you can click through if you're really wanting more guidance. If you're just starting out and need some help with all of this, they have a lot of advice on there to help you out. Next one is ADORKA stock. This was formerly known as Senshi stock, is a pretty well-known one from what I've seen online, is a lot of people's favorite. This one finally again does have the timed sessions and a library that you can sit and look through. I would say the library is not as big. It is just a bit of a smaller selection, although they're very good base photos here. They're less of any costumed or real life setting ones. They're very much kind of models getting into these poses for you, which can be helpful sometimes if you don't want to be distracted by all of that and want to focus on drawing the body. Next one is character designs. So this one is just a gallery. There's no timed sessions available, but I love it for that gallery option because it's a very wide gallery range. It's almost more of like a reference art archive. You get a lot of just straight artwork even to draw from, photo references. A lot of it is stage stuff, people in costumes at events or in costumes just stage. But yeah, it has a lot of character design art from things too to help like get you inspired after you've done your figure drawing warm-up. So this is almost a great website for like moving on towards the rest of your art practice, which I find very helpful now. But it does still have a lot of like realistic people, and a lot of times the photos are in collages. The next one is Figurosity. This one is kind of our first breakaway where this is all 3D models. None of this is real life people or photos, it's all gonna be a sculpted model. It is multiple models, admittedly though. You can browse through, they'll have different body types, skin colors, all of that, but it is all just 3D, so you're aware. They offer the timed sections and a gallery to look through, so you have both options available. And as much as I tend to favor real life photos, I think it's still a good place to practice from because sometimes there's some crazy things you're imagining and they can pose that with a 3D modeler, so you have at least a reference. Where with humans, if you have just a specific crazy idea, it's gonna be hard to find a reference that matches that. Next one is Pose My Art, again a 3D model site. This one is gonna require the most out of you. It is essentially set up as a site for you to create the poses, so you have something to reference, but they do have a bit of a library of like pre-made poses, and they have different body parts and like scenes where you could put multiple figures together if you didn't want to pose at all, so they have some you can reference. This site I tend to use less for just a straight figure drawing practice and more for once I'm creating artwork and need figure reference. If I have something very specific in mind, you can go in here and start fiddling to see like, okay, first of all, could a human body do that? And then just set it there so you have something kind of look at, make sure you're getting body shapes right. It's also very geared towards anime, whether you like that or not. It's got a lot of anime body options, so keep that in mind. Next one is just Google. So as it sounds, Google, I love finding references from. It is obviously going to be the biggest library of photos available to you. No time session setup, of course, but you can look up a lot on Google and find a lot of great things. I specifically have found Googling like dancers or fighters really fun to do, because you do get some really great references and can explore through and find some great things. You'll have to know a little bit to Google, but you can find anything there. So if you're just ever in a mood or you feel like you've seen all these other photos of these sites too much now, just head up Google. They're gonna be good, especially for action photos. I have found they've just got everything on there. Next along the same line is Pinterest. Similar setup of Pinterest is kind of just a giant gallery of photos of different things, so you can find a lot on there. And in my experience, I've found Pinterest to be great for finding good like casual photo references of people chilling or just more laid back poses to take from or practice drawing. Pinterest has got a lot of cutesy aesthetic photos of girls and things, and those are often really nice and a chill feeling and something that's great to practice drawing from as well. So those are my favorite and most used sites. I do not use all 10 of these constantly, but I do find that having all of these bookmarked is really good to have on hand and cycle between them every few months. As great as a lot of these sites are and big libraries they have, they're still limited to a point where sometimes I've used one site so much where I'm just seeing the same stuff and I need to mix it up and switch to the other, and that's really helpful now to have both of these. But again, these are just some of my favorites. I've definitely come across a few others out there. Share with me some of your favorite sites. Show me some of your artwork from these. Let me see all our great figure drawing practice. And that'll be all. Let me know if there's any other drawing tips you'd like to see from me, or we'll dive into painting next. And have a great rest of your day.